start by going over page 19. This was the work you did on Wednesday last week. We started going over it on Friday, but we did not finish it. So I'm again guessing if you did it, you knew what you were doing. I'm going to go kind of quick, but please ask me or have me explain something if you got something different. So it starts off with name the coarse textured rocks. These are right off your reference table. So again, coarse, all of these. And I did include diabase as the sixth one. Yes, I forgot a line for it. So hopefully you added a line for diabase. If you didn't, go ahead and do that now. So the coarse are granite, diorite, gabbro, periodite, dunite, and diabase. There's only one very coarse on the reference table, and that's pegmatite. Another word for intrusive, there's intrusive, and in parentheses, the other word for intrusive is plutonic. And again, right off the reference table, coarse are 1 to 10, and very coarse are 10 plus millimeters. These are all non-vesicular instead of non-vesicular, but it says, are these rocks vesicular or non-vesicular? So yes, they are intrusive, but that didn't answer the question. So they are this non-vesicular. They are intrusive, which means they cool slow. And then it asks where. As long as you said something about inside, you're good. Now for this table, you should have noticed a pattern. Anything that is on the left has a light color, low density, and felsic. Everything that's on the right is dark in color, higher density, and mafic. So pegmatite, the first one right here, that is off to the left. So it's light, low, and felsic. Same with granite, light, low, and felsic. Gabbro's on the other side, so that's dark, high, and mafic. Pumice is light, low, and felsic. Basaltic glass is dark, high, and mafic. Scoria and vesicular basalt, also dark, high, and mafic. Rhyolite is light, low, and felsic. Basalt, dark, high, and mafic. Vesicular rhyolite is light, low, and felsic. Then again, you should have been able to see the pattern. All the rocks that are mafic are dark in color, have a high density, and it means they're rich in iron and magnesium. Again, nothing you had to memorize. Fe and Mg. Where do you find the names for those, Fe and Mg? Do you have to memorize them, first of all? There's actually two spots. The easiest spot is probably the back. There's a list right here, so Fe and Mg. But also the front cover has a few listed. There is Fe and Mg. You don't ever have to memorize them. Just know that if the Regents uses the symbol Fe, you know that that means iron. Again, do not put them in your brain though. There's no need to memorize that. And then the last one on this page is felsic rocks are always light in color, have a low density, and contain Si and Al, so silicon and aluminum. Does anybody want me to go over anything on that front page, or page 19, I should say? What's up? Which one? Or no? No. All right. The back was also, so again, it starts by asking just give me 5 examples of mafic rocks. So mafic, again, is anything on the right-hand side. So any of these, I only gave you 5 spots, but there are more than 5 rocks. So basaltic glass, scoria, vesicular basalt, diabase, periodite, gabbro, and dunite, as long as you had 5 of those in no particular order. Same thing on the other side, there are more than 5, but here are the 5, or here are all of them. Obsidian, pumice, rhyolite, vesicular rhyolite, granite, and pegmatite. So again, as long as you had 5 of those. Now I want to name the minerals found in each of the following rocks. So it starts off with obsidian, pumice, vesicular rhyolite, granite, and pegmatite. So everybody over here. And they asked for the minerals that will be found in all of those. So remember to find the minerals. Those are these guys down here. So all of the symbols. So yes, there's polka dots and more polka dots and these stripes. Now, just because there's no name here to go with the stripes are still there. So you have to peek under your paper and see that that's plagioclase, biotite, and amphibole. So that first one would have been, and again, it doesn't matter the order. Potassium feldspar, quartz, plagioclase, biotite, and amphibole. This one is plagioclase, biotite, amphibole, pyroxene, and olivine. Over here, we have quartz, plagioclase, biotite, amphibole, and pyroxene. And then pyroxene and olivine. And then dunite only has olivine in it. The bottom, again, course, I forgot the spot for diabase again. So there was one extra: granite, diorite, gabbro, periodite, dunite, and diabase. Light and color. One thing I want to point out is we know that this whole side of the chart is light in color, but did you guys notice the note for obsidian? So it usually appears black. Should we have that in our list of light and color then? No. So the light and color are pumice, rhyolite, granite, pegmatite, and vesicular rhyolite. However, even though it usually appears black, obsidian is still on the lower density side and the felsic side. So I did include it in the higher in aluminum list. So it's obsidian, pumice, rhyolite, vesicular rhyolite, granite, and pegmatite. The high density, again, I did not have enough lines: basaltic glass, scoria basalt, vesicular basalt, diabase, gabbro, dunite, and periodite. Again, I know I went fast, but if you did it, do you have any questions? Okay, then let's do the very last thing there is to do for rocks and minerals. So we're going to just flip over to page 21. So as you can see on the board, you do have homework, and it is page 21 and 22. So we're going to get a very good head start on your homework right now. And we're going to do the most of 21 together. So page 21, which is where I'd like all of you to write now. If you don't already have your reference table out, you're going to need your reference table out. And you're going to need a piece of scrap paper. I almost forgot. So I'm going to hand you out some new scrap paper. Luke, when you get yours, you have one for Lily and one for Kendra. Okay, let's wrap up rocks and minerals. So this question says, we need the percentage of minerals found in rocks. That's what we're going to be doing right now, is finding out not only what minerals are in each rock, but how much of each mineral. So I haven't mentioned this at all. You already know how to find out the minerals in a rock, right? How do you find the minerals in, let's say, granite? How do I find the minerals in granite? You follow what? But which way do I follow the box? Not over, nope, down. So here's granite. If I asked you what minerals are in granite, you follow, so see how granite has like its own box? You follow that down, and any of these symbols that are underneath granite are the minerals that are in granite. So granite has potassium feldspar, quartz, plagioclase, biotite, and amphibole listed underneath it. Now, one thing you might notice, are you raising your hand? Oh, okay. That works. One thing you might notice with this is see how the symbols change size. See how in this, actually, let me do it on here so they can see me in the video. See how if we were to measure like right here, there's like, or over on this side, there's a huge chunk of potassium on this side of the box. But on this side, see how there's only a teeny tiny sliver? Well, that means different pieces of granite can have different amounts of that mineral in them. For example, and I should have showed this to the last class. Oh, these ones are all the same. We got a different one. Maybe. Ah, there we are. Never mind, I can't even show you that. All right, never mind. No examples. Have you guys seen granite countertops? What was the color of the one you saw, Cynthia? You don't remember? Who's got a color? What color have you seen, Michael? You've seen white countertops. Marble, okay, that's good. That's more good. Probably you're getting at white again. Anybody seen any other color? There's black ones, there's green ones, there's sparkly ones. There's ones that could look just like this that have white, black, and pink. You see one that looks like that? They can come in just about any color. It all depends on how much of each one of these minerals. If you notice in this piece of granite, there's a pink chunk. That pink chunk is potassium feldspar, which is pink. Now the white spots are probably quartz. The black spots are probably amphibole, or it could be amphibole or biotite. And the black spots or the white or gray spots, they're going to be plagioclase. So if a piece of granite happens to be more black, which mineral do you think it has more of? If it's a black granite. More biotite, more amphibole. If it's more pink, it's going to have more potassium in it. So granite can vary depending on which piece of granite you have. Now, that makes our jobs difficult if it can be a whole bunch of different things. So we're going to go with the average piece of granite. Now, averages are typically in the middle area. So do you see how the word granite is centered in the box? We need to find the middle of the word granite. Now, by the way, if we write out granite, how do I find the middle of that word? Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 letters. Where's the middle? What letter's in the middle? N. Here's the middle of the word granite. So we're going to find the middle of the word granite that's actually written there. And you're going to take your scrap paper. And you are going to line your scrap paper up with that N. And again, you're going to try and get to the middle of the N. So you need your reference table, open it up to page 6. Line your scrap paper up with the N in the word granite. And again, try to get the middle of the N if you can. So I moved mine, but let me do it again. I'm just going to put a rock here to hold my paper steady. So I found the N in granite and just lined my paper up with that N. So once you have your paper lined up with that letter N, we need to mark off the start and the finish of each one of the symbols. So for example, down here at the bottom where their stripes are, you're going to mark off that bottom of the box with a line. Make it a pretty decent line. We're not talking about just like a little dot. So all I did was mark that at the bottom of the stripes. And I'm going to put another mark for the top of the stripes. So I'm just marking off where the stripes begin and where the stripes end. Now I'm going to mark off the top of the black. I already have the bottom of the black marked off. And then the top of the next set of stripes, and then the polka dots, and then the top of that other set of polka dots. So you're just going to have a bunch of little marks there. But we're doing it on your scrap paper. So you want to put those marks on your scrap paper. While your scrap paper is still lined up with that end. The other thing, and I guess I should have mentioned this while I had you do it, you're going to want to label. So let me actually go back a step. So what you're doing is you're marking off how big each section is. We're going to want to label those sections as well. So in between the two lines, you're not labeling the line, you're labeling the section. Label what that line is representing. So I'm not going to write out the whole word. So actually, I am going to write out potassium. That's the whole section for potassium. Here's the section for quartz. I got a peek under my paper. This one is plagioclase. The black is biotite. I got to write smaller. And this is amphibole. So again, I've labeled how fat the section, not the lines, but the actual space. Yeah, if you got to move your paper off to the side to see what's underneath where you were writing, that works too. Again, label the space, not the line. So now we're going to go and say, okay, well, how big are these spaces? You might have noticed, did you see the scale off to the right? I'm sorry, this is the left. For those of, or there is also a scale, I should have shown you, on both sides. So this probably has to do with whether you were left-handed or right-handed, which side you want to use. But use whatever side's easier for you. So if you wrote on this side of the chart like I did, then go over here. But if you marked this off like this on this side, no problem there. You can just take it over this way. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to take our scrap paper and you're going to take that over to the scale and line up the bottom with the 0. You should now be able to read how big is your amphibole section. Before we try this, what are the little lines going up by? 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So if you put the bottom over at the 0, where does the top of the amphibole go? How many lines up is it? For me, it's exactly 2. Do you all get that? So what percent is that? That's a 10. I'm just going to label that after it. Now, let's make our life easier. Move your scrap paper. So the bottom of the biotite line is at 0. So start over. Move your scrap paper so the biotite line is lined up with the 0 again. So we're basically starting over with biotite. How many lines up does the biotite go now? I got 2 again. So what's the percent for biotite? 10. Start over again with plagioclase. Put the bottom of the plagioclase at the 0. What do you guys get for that one? What are you thinking? 4 lines up, 20. If you didn't get it right on 20, you can estimate if it was 21 or 22. Start over again for quartz. My quartz was 40%. Do you guys get that too? And then start over for potassium. And I got 20. So in theory, what should these numbers add up to? 100%. And it turns out mine do. 20 plus 40 is 60, 80, 90, 100. That's how you'll find out what percent is in each mineral. Now, by the way, we should mention that this needs to go into your packet on page 21. So first, I'm going to label the minerals that were in each. Think you guys can handle the next one on your own? Ooh, I actually want to start over. I want to help at least to begin with. All right, let's try diorite. How many minerals do you get in diorite when you go to start this off? Where do we put the paper? How about that? So here's diorite, but where do we put the paper? The middle of it. So again, if you're not sure where to put the paper, you can write out the word diorite. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2. The center of that word then is the R. So you're going to line your paper up with the R in diorite. Make sure your paper is as straight as possible. When you go down the center of that box, the only 3 things that are in there are plagioclase, biotite, and amphibole. So that's why it's important to go down the center. If you've got this, you can just keep going. Your homework is to finish page 21 and do page 22. So I did put my answer. Once you think you've got your middle one there, the diabase, I put my answer up on the board. Check your work, and you got it. Move on. That. So you got. Well, let's see. All right, let's see where those lines are. The one thing I see is you are. Go ahead.
So that 55, maybe 57.
Yeah, here, let me actually turn off the recording here. So again, your homework is to finish up page 21 and 22.